Hello, my name is Alexis Dudden. I'm a professor of history at the University of Connecticut, and I would like to at once thank Korea Diplomacy Plaza, Professor Nam, for inviting me, including me in your very important conversation over the next several hours. Wish I could be there in person, and I just most importantly would like to congratulate the Republic of Korea on such a successful, peaceful transition of power. And that is something that the world learns from, and Korea teaches all of us. Thank you. So, without further ado, there are many anniversaries right now, historical anniversaries, that is, 60th, 75th, 80th. However we're looking at this summer is full of memory. It is also full of people that would try to erase the actual history that happens. And so maybe if I could offer several suggestions for the conversation, the difference between history and memory. History is what happened. History is, boring. People don't actually want to be friends with historians. You shouldn't have many friends who are historians. It's what happened. It's fact, it's written down, it's either not written down because people couldn't write, or it's in stone. It happened. Memory is what we're talking about. Memory is how we are thinking about the past and the present. And for the Republic of Korea, for Koreans, it is incredibly traumatic. And we've seen this in recent politics. This was a very divisive election, and that's not unique to Korea. We see this around the world. People are battling, especially here in the United States. I'm sitting in Connecticut right now. People are battling over how to remember how we became Americans. People are battling in South Korea over what it means to be Korean. So, there are several touchstones that have happened in Korea's past, historically, particularly during the Japanese occupation of Korea for the first half of the century. And then I would ask everybody to just take a deep breath and think, wow, but we've been a divided Korea for longer than the Japanese occupied us. And yet it is the histories that happened with Japan that become most politically volatile. I will never erase these histories. That's what I do for a living, is find the voices of the people who survived them, and unfortunately the people who did not. When I confront denialism, which is an effort to erase not only history, but the humanity involved in the history that happened, I have the privilege of standing up and saying, no, this happened. When we think about Grandma Lee, who just passed, how many are remaining in South Korea? Forgive me, I think 6. These women, their lives, they matter. And they matter not simply because of the horror they survived, but because the truth that they have brought forward has enabled victims of similar horrors happening right now to stand up and say no. And without being too political, please let me remind everybody listening that the reason that Vladimir Putin is declared a war criminal is not because of the invasion of Ukraine. It's because of his complicity in the trafficking of minor children for the purposes of sexual enslavement. And it was the surviving Halmani that brought that story forward, their own past, their history, under Japanese occupation, to the United Nations. And in 1996, this was declared a war crime, crime against humanity. And the ability of those survivors to bring that really horrible history that they themselves live to the world stage enables today's victims of similar horrors to resist, to try to say no, and for those of us who advocate for them to bring their cases forward. So, denying history between Japan and Korea during this normalization anniversary of ties, that is to say, 1965, it's impossible. There are abundant physical documents, historical documents, abundant human histories, abundant records that make the history of Japan's cruel colonization of Korea real. I Googled Kim Dae-jung, and if you look on his Wikipedia page, he's born in a town that has a Japanese spelling. That was real, but that's not now. Korea survived colonization, Korea has become Korea, and Korea will endure. My only suggestion for the current new government of Lee Jae-myung, congratulations, is to use history for humanity. It's not a weapon. It is not an us versus them. It is Korea's history teaches the world, and it especially teaches colonies, former colonies, how to become their own countries. And Korea is the shining light in that regard. Thank you very much for including me in your conversation, and I wish you a wonderful conference.